You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to a quick impromptu post-match Watford review with my man, my co-pilot, Mr. Neil Fissler. How are you, mate?
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to see Millwall win away. Oh, yeah, not bad, son, not bad at all.
What an excellent game. In fact, in response to that musical interlude, I might have to roll the Rowett Express jingle because the Rowett Express is back on track again at Watford Junction. Neil, that was an excellent, really, really strong away win today over a highly fancied, highly expensive, much lauded form Watford side. 2-0, and we looked really, really strong for me. Great performance. Entertaining game as well.
You know what the pleasing thing was, Nick?
Yeah.
Those two vermin dogs of war in the Watford derby, they were reduced to whimpering poodles of peace today by the mighty Lions. Yeah, mate, they were outclassed in every phase of that game. There was not 1 minute of that game did we look second best, and the result probably didn't do the performance justice, if I'm honest. I know I'd normally say, you get what you deserved, but we deserved a hell of a lot more out of that game. It was just one-way traffic virtually, wasn't it, from the first minute to the last minute? And I think
it was. Yeah.
And it would have been 5-6-0 easily.
We missed a few chances, and I'm not pulling up Millwall on that because that's been a bit of a curse of our season. But you're right. It was a very strong performance. It's really great to see it. I mean, 1,600 fans made the journey out there. We said in our show the other day, Neil, it was a bit of a unfriendly kickoff. But I mean, they really made themselves heard, including a wonderful rendition of "You West Ham Cunt" to Slaven Bilic, which I thought was very heartening to hear in the second half. But no, I mean, the lineup, let's just run through the team I'm sure by the time listeners get to hear this, that they'll know it already. But Jules Long in goal, back four, Murray Wallace, Sean Hutchinson, Jake Cooper, Danny McNamara, my man of the match today, Billy Mitch and George Saville. Billy Mitch, very close run thing with him for a man of the match. Also, George Saville done very well. Then the kind of attacking three, shall we call them, Tyler Bury, Zian Fleming, of whom more later, Andreas Vogelsammer, of more later, and the tireless efforts of a player that's probably underrated, Tom Bradshaw. I mean, it's very hard. It's one of those performances where, in truth, I found it quite hard to pick a man of the match out. Danny Mack, I thought, swung it for me, but you could have picked half a dozen names there and you wouldn't have an argument from me because it was just a real team performance today.
Mate, I don't think we had one poor player on that pitch today. It was really one of those games where where all 11 players contributed, and the only one who probably didn't was George Long because he didn't have an awful lot to do, did he? But all of the outfield players, every single one of them contributed to that, to that victory. I'm possibly edging towards Billy Mitchell, I think, for man of the match because he is growing into becoming one of the best midfielders in the Championship. He is absolutely tireless. And there was one ball in the second half that he played out, I think it was to Zian Fleming. Yeah. And it was one hell of a ball. It was a kind of lofted drive, wasn't it? And fell at Fleming's feet, I think it was. Mate, he is actually becoming one of the best midfielders in the Championship, and that's not an exaggeration. I think if he could score a couple of goals, he'd easily play for a top 10 Premier League team.
I think you're right. I think Billy Mitchell's added so many layers to his game this season, visibly in front of us. He killed off some moves today with some really clever defensive play, and then he's added this layer, as you say rightly, of forward passing. I'm wondering whether being around great players, top players like Zian Fleming is having a bit of an influence on him to bring him out a little bit, because we always acknowledged his industriousness, but he's really developing his game overall. I found it hard to pick. I went for Danny Mack just purely because he's one of our own, like Billy Mitchell's, and I just thought he had a great game today. But it's very hard to pick one, in truth. George Saville played well today, Neil, as well. I mean, it was on a yellow card for most of that.
Saville was absolutely fantastic, wasn't he? Yeah, but the best thing you can liken to Billy Mitchell is he's like Jimmy Abdu, but he can pass the football.
He can pass, yeah. And no, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but he's here, there, and everywhere. The defensive side of his game, and but then as you say, he's added this attacking layer, which is what Jimmy couldn't do. Yeah.
Well, Jimmy didn't have the tools. Billy does, and Billy has it. But he's learning how to use them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if he could add some goals to that, he'd be one of them. He'd be an absolutely fantastic Premier League player for me.
I mean, great team performance. It was great to see Tyler Bury start today. In the pre-match team lineups, they showed Watford lined up in the same formation that we take, this 4-2-3-1 set up, and I wondered whether that would be to our benefit or against us. I thought it was to our benefit, because they looked very, very much second best today, Watford. And Bury, it's always easy to criticise his lack of, a few times I think the commentary team, Max and Carl, mentioned how he's being called upon by other players to track back, but he does have these little moments going forwards. He's got a real quality touch, and there's a player in there, Neil. He's a player that can frustrate, but he's got the ingredients, Tyler Bury, I think.
Yeah, well, you name a winger that doesn't frustrate. Yeah,
That's right.
They've got this wonderful ability, and Tyler Bury has got this, to actually take one touch of the football, go around his man. Yeah, he's got that ability and that pace and that touch. And I was disappointed with one thing he did in the first half, where he did that, but then he shot tamely.
Yeah.
So, you can see that he's got it, and he does frustrate. But then again, you look at any winger, especially any winger we've had. Yeah, I never saw Gordon Hill play, but I should imagine Gordon Hill was probably one of our best wingers ever.
Yeah, mercurial. Mercurial is the word. Yeah. They do brilliant things, then they don't. That's winger. That's what winger play.
Yeah, but he's still a kid. Yeah, but I don't think he's had a full season in him yet, has he? In any level, because he went to Hartlepool last season, wasn't it? Last season, I think. Now, wasn't it?
He was on loan. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but then he got injured. Then he came back here, so he hasn't had a full season, and he just needs a little bit more experience, to be honest. And yet again, Millwall are going to have a bloody good player on their hands.
Absolutely, one that will be sought after in time, which is the business model that we keep talking about now.
Absolutely.
I mean, today's game, we started brightly. Fleming had a volley inside the first minute, across the face of goal, and the chances continued. I'm just looking at my notes here. Watford didn't have a sniff. I mean, it's just chance upon moment upon moment for Millwall. Some really nice play, some really beautiful moves at times. Nice work by Tom Bradshaw up front, chesting down passes and laying off to others to get the opportunities. I mean, the goal was really heartening to see Vogelsammer get on the score sheet. He had opportunities like others, and it was just nice to see him take that moment. That was a Bradshaw layoff, Neil. 21 minutes, and he kind of placed it in the net. Really nicely finished, actually, for the goal.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a superb finish, and I think it's something that we've wanted him to do. We've spoken about it on a Friday, haven't we? He needs a goal. And, you thought Billy was man of the match. You thought that Danny Mack was man of the match.
Yeah.
He was man of the match. But you could equally make a case, for Vogie being man of the match.
Absolutely.
especially in that first half. He scored one. He was close on at least two other occasions. Then we're going
Yeah,
to mention in the second half that he hit the crossbar. Yeah.
he did.
So
Yeah,
yeah, but it's just so good to see that he has got a bit of criticism in certain quarters. Yeah. Millwall quarters, but again, every
Millwall
Millwall player.
quarters.
So, but yeah, he's been written off as being crap and
Shit. He's been written off as being shit. I mean, I don't get how people come to these conclusions. Clearly, he's not
yeah,
shit.
the Millwall way. So, Vogue, if you are listening to this, don't worry about it, son. Yeah, well, you were world class today, but
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
it's the kind of player that we've actually wanted. It's a shame we don't play two up front because I'd love to see him and Bradshaw working in
As a
tandem.
partnership. Yeah.
Yeah, as a
Yeah.
partnership, I think it'd be absolutely fantastic little partnership. Bradshaw works. Christ Almighty, did he get through some work today? Yeah, he might not score, but you have a look at the work that he gets through. But he was creating, he was pulling, he was harrying, he was harassing them. But he was
No,
laying
absolutely.
ball off. Yeah, a bit like Vogie. Yeah, Vogie, similar sort of thing today. It was just it was just really good to see. And that finish, it was a cool, calm, collected finish, wasn't it? Just kind of stroked it into the corner. But
Almost placed it in, didn't he? Almost placed the ball in. It was a great finish.
before that, actually, there was that chance where the goalkeeper had that rush of blood to his head. I think
Yeah.
under pressure from Vogelslammer, actually. And the ball came to, I think it came out to Bradshaw, didn't it? About 30 yards out.
He tried to put it into the empty net, but the goalkeeper did well there, really. I mean, hats off to the goalkeeper. He did make some saves this afternoon.
Yeah, we curled it around the defender, and I thought that it was just in the right place. I think if he could have got a bit more width on it and curled it in, I don't think the goalkeeper would have had a prayer with it.
No, absolutely. I mean, we worked them. I thought we did a real job on Watford, who are highly rated, Neil. The fourth in the table coming into the game today, with Bilic, the manager, and all the rest of it. Some expensive players. They got, I think they're a parachute money side, so they can lay access to some money and players that we can't. But attitude-wise, I thought they were very poor this afternoon. And of course, the game. They weren't up for it.
They absolutely had no bottle at all about them. Sarr apparently is being looked at by Liverpool, and he looked average.
I'd look away if I were them, wouldn't you? I mean, if you were talking about money for him, I didn't think much of him, Keenan, is it Keenan Davis? The player made a few runs. He would be one that would catch my eye. I don't know what kind of.
Yeah, we went to kick him a couple of times towards the end, and we missed.
We couldn't get close to him. So there's a player that I would look at if I had the money that he would command. Obviously, there's a sending off on 37 minutes, which put them really up. They're up against it already, listeners. I can't stress enough to anyone that didn't see the game or won't see the footage how much stronger we were than this Watford side. But the sending off probably was a decisive moment in the game because it kind of broke their spirit a little bit, I think, after that. Very silly challenge from the 23, Neil. I don't know. Danny kind of worked him a little bit. I think he did a little nudge on him, didn't he?
Yeah, but Danny had a little nibble at him, and the geezer turned around and just forearmed him in the face right in front of the referee. And to be honest, if I was Bitch and I was Julian Dix, their other so-called vermin hard man, I would through the dressing room wall at half time for that because it was just totally unnecessary, wasn't it? But it just showed that we were under their skin. We'd irritated them. Yeah,
absolutely.
Got involved. And then Danny Mack had a little nibble at him. I thought that Danny Mack was slightly unlucky was slightly fortunate because I thought it was a little bit of a kick. little bit
Well,
of
he
a
drew a
trick.
yellow, didn't he? He drew a yellow, and
Yeah,
I thought, as you say, on another day they might have shown both a yellow card for getting involved with each other in that way. So, I think we caught a break there. But the boy reacted, raised his hands, and if you're going
it
to
was
raise your hands, you might as well chin him, mind you. I mean, rather than go for a silly push in the face.
it was like a forearm push into the
Yeah,
face. Yeah, but Danny went down as all footballers do.
dramatically so. Yeah, and off he went.
The card
Um,
came out, and we were pissing ourselves laughing. But well, as you said, everything post match from Carl Bates and Mad Max
Max.
was they were almost lauding this Watford team, weren't they? They hadn't been beaten since we outplayed them at the
They
Den,
came in with some form, apparently.
but they hadn't. But they hadn't conceded in 4 games. And
No,
I was thinking, Christ Almighty, one of my mates is a Watford fan here, and and it just didn't turn out that way. And you were confident throughout that game that we were going to win it. From the minute we scored, you thought, well, it's a question of how many we win this by. It's not if we win it, because at no stage did they look like they were going to come back at us and threaten
no.
us. And I think our biggest Achilles heel, which has been our Achilles heel for quite some time, is we don't have a killer instinct. We should have killed them off. We should have killed them off in that first half, when easily we should have been three or 4 goals up, and then we should have
Yeah.
added to in the second half. But we had to
We
wait.
should have been 2 or 3 ahead. Well, 1-0 at half time did feel a little bit fragile. Incidentally, you mentioned Max. I had to laugh. Max was, I think it was in the first half. The Watford players, Joao, I can't remember his Hernandez. I don't know, but anyway, he went off injured, and Max said something along the lines of, "We don't want to see that." Yes, we do, Max. We do want to see players leave the field injured when they're not on our side. That is what we want to see, mate. But
Yeah,
anyway,
man, pleased to see that guy on a pair of crutches coming down the.
I mean, he's one of their highly rated players. I want to see him hobbling off the pitch, don't I? That's why we pay money to watch it. Half time, 0-1. Lions leading well, high energy half by Millwall. I think you're right. My only fear for the second half really was that the ref would get flaky, would have sent one of ours off, and we would fall into the trap. But the second half, in fairness, Neil continued for the most part. It was the way the first time. There's a little flurry by Watford in about midway through the second half, but otherwise it was chance upon chance. Vogie hitting the crossbar. We've mentioned that already, and that was a nice knockdown from Tom Bradshaw. So we continue to play very, very well in the second half, and that's pleasing to see because we've let a few go off the boil this year, haven't we? In the second half.
Yeah, my biggest fear, you're right, at half time was that we were going to get drawn into something and we were going to do something silly, that they were going to
Yeah,
try and even up a little bit, get us
yeah,
down to 10 and then come at us. But
yeah.
it never arrived. Normally you expect a team to at least show a bit of arsehole in the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, don't you? But it was almost as if they'd just put on their pipe and slippers and that they were just quite content to lose 1-0, really. Because
They seemed keen to get back home for Boxing Day, cold meat and stuffing, didn't they? It was a very odd performance by Watford.
it was just, but it was just absolutely so flat. And even their crowd, and they don't make noise at the best of times today. It's one of those pointless little clubs that
It's not an
bank
intimidating
between the
atmosphere.
Championship and the Premier League, and
Yeah.
all you heard was Millwall fans. There was just nothing in there, and there was nothing for the crowd to feed off, and nothing for the players to feed off, and that's what we
Incidentally,
did.
hats off to those 1,600 Millwall fans, Neil, because you're right. That's all you could hear. Hats off. That was a great travelling performance by the Mill support this afternoon. Couple of chances. I mean, I've got a 65-minute brilliant defending. I think it was Jake Cooper cleared from Sarr. I think that was a punt down the middle, and it fell through to Sarr, and it was cleared inside the box. So we did what we haven't done on occasions this season. That's defend well in the second half. The only chance I've got listed for them was a shot over the bar from a take and turn from a cross, but otherwise we really shut them out. I know down to 10 men, but these are games that can get away from you sometimes. And then the killer goal, Neil, from how many more times are we going to praise Zian Fleming this year? What new plaudits can we send his way? Because that was such a great finish on that free kick. Typical Zian Fleming, wasn't it? For 2-0 at
Yeah,
81 minutes.
to be honest, I thought it was one of his quietest afternoons.
Overall,
Yeah,
yeah,
and all of a sudden,
there
yeah,
he
we
is.
get that. It doesn't look to be a dangerous free kick, does it? Yeah, but
No,
it didn't look to be in a dangerous position. And I wasn't even sure that he'd scored it. I thought that somebody had surely got a touch. And yeah, but they hadn't. And it was just, my son messaged me saying, "Oh, that was a great finish." And it just, the Bermondsey Bird Camp, wasn't it? Just adds another goal to his tally. It just,
one more. I mean, I don't know how we're going to. How many different ways can we praise him? I think you're right. It wasn't. In some ways, like Tyler, in a way. I mean, it wasn't. They both did okay. Neither would I criticise, but it was a fairly quiet ZN afternoon up
they both
until
contributed in quiet ways, didn't they? They contributed to the
yeah.
victory. Yeah? Zion, well, he is going to have games where, maybe our expectation levels of him are getting a little bit carried away. But I thought today he did do some good stuff, but it
Absolutely.
didn't. Well, it wasn't one of his dominant performances, was it? I think he got over. I think there were much more dominant players on the pitch for us.
Well, other
But
players caught the eye. We've mentioned them already. And Zian was there, but wasn't one of his on fire performances. But then I think what it is, Neil, and this is where I think this is what separates great players. I'm hoping we're going to see this from Billy in time because he's improving match by match. But that goal from Fleming was a fairly tightly angled left-sided free kick, wasn't it? It's the ambition to whip it in, have a go, and be prepared to fail. It's that great players take chances and they deliver because they've been prepared to take that chance. And that's Zian Fleming whipped in,
you
and
roll
it's
dice, don't you? You roll life's dice to see what
absolutely,
happens. You roll it,
absolutely.
you've got coming up with it. And that's what he does. He rolls the dice and it
Now,
works for us.
Bosch. I spelled Bosch with a CH, listeners, just for a bit of Dutch kind of Bosch I've written on my notes. And it went 2-0. Watford fans making for the exits, going for the bus, take the bus home, go home. And as you've already sung, Jingle Bells ripping, being sung around the Vicarage Road. It was largely it. There was a late chance for Tom Bradshaw, wasn't there? Which was actually quite well saved in the 3rd minute of added time. The ball fell to Tom Bradshaw from a move. And the goalkeeper got my stream buffered a lot just before that, so I called juddery images of Tom Bradshaw firing on goal and the goalkeeper getting back on the line to bat it away. But that was largely it. Neil, it was a great overall performance, really heartening, and a good start to Christmas for us.
Yeah, but the best song of all, "You Must Be Shit." We're winning away. Just go back to that Bradford chance. Yeah, but it was blocked, and then it came out, and with that young lad Eze that came on, somebody that we, that we praised in recent weeks after he played against Bromby. It was fantastic to see him come on for the last couple of minutes and give him a couple of minutes of experience. It just goes to pop the myth, maybe that I've said that Gary
A self-created myth.
And we showed a bit of in him, and it was good to see it. The game was won, so lob him on. Let's see what he's made of. And to be fair, the ball almost fell for him. And
It did. No, that would have been a fairy tale, wouldn't it? No, hats off to Gary Rowett because he's been much maligned over his time, often rightly so. But I think we should also all Millwall fans be quick to acknowledge where we played really well today, Neil. I mean, some of the high energy football we played was exactly, I think, what Gary Rowett wanted when he came up with this system. However he stumbled upon it, however it's come about. None of that matters in the end. When you play good football like we saw today, it was entertaining. We passed and moved well. We've got good players that will, give them enough chances, they'll get the goals, and that's how it worked out today. And we beat quality opponents. It's easy to say Watford were poor, but that's a quality side we've beaten there. Fourth in the table. These are not mugs. These are expensive international class players in some cases. So that was a really strong performance. Excellent show overall. And I think we should be quick to acknowledge Rowett because he's quick to get slated, isn't he, when it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, I take his baseball cap off to him. The baseball cap, Gary Rowett. Yeah, yeah, but I don't know if it was a Christmas present or if it was, or if it's a new line in
the new look, baseball coach look.
Yeah, but to be honest, but that's now his lucky baseball cap. He has to wear that more often, doesn't he? And nobody's criticised him more than H, who should have been on today and has let us down because
Harry's otherwise. I was trying to get Harry on the show, listeners, but I think he's otherwise engaged. I'll leave you all to dwell where he's engaged at.
Well, fair play to Rowett. Yeah, we said on Friday that we hoped that we'd raise our game because but let's not make too many bones about it. We've been absolutely turgid since we came back from our World Cup break. Yeah, we were very poor against Sunderland. Yeah. We weren't that much better against Wigan, were we? And we played two or three games since. I forget now.
Two, because we had the Luton postponement, didn't we? Yeah, 2 games.
Yeah, the Luton postponement, and that. But I don't know if that postponement's done us some good. It'd be interesting to hear from Rowett to see if that postponement has done us a little bit of good, because it looked as if it had.
We looked really fresh today. We looked really fresh,
we did.
Passing movement was very.
We ought to. Really, shouldn't we?
Yeah. But I mean, you still got to go out and do it, and we did it. I was just thinking the away game that we were all talking about last was the win at Preston, which was a 4-2 win. But he didn't have the mistakes because we gave Preston. We had a 2-goal lead, which we gave them back. We had to restart again at 2 each. There weren't any mistakes this afternoon, Neil. This was a strong show against a very good side, and there we are, 3 points in the bag with, I think, Bristol City's next up, isn't it, on Thursday night? So we couldn't have asked for a better start to the Christmas programme as it's worked out now. So well done, Millwall.
But the good thing is that our Christmas programme, it's worked out quite well because I know some clubs are being pulled left, right and centre all over the country, but we played Watford, even though I think we stayed overnight somewhere, and then we're home to Bristol City on Thursday night. Then we've got Rotherham on
New Year's Day fiction. Yeah.
So it's actually worked out quite well. We haven't got a lot of travelling, have we? Yeah, well, I guess we'll be home by now. Or most of the players we're probably on the coach around the M25 or through town, and they're home at a reasonable time. And it's just great because I hate Christmas. I was bored yesterday. I was trying to get you, to do a bloody faces last night.
Trying to get me away from the family gig, which I had no chance of escape from, and start doing a live show. Little chance. It would have been nice. It would have been nice, but no chance, mate.
I was that bored, honestly. But it's just but Boxing Day for me is the best day of Christmas because it's a cold.
It's wall-to-wall football all day, isn't it? One way and the other. So. That's more, with a great start of a Millwall win. We're sitting in 6th spot. I'm just looking at the league table now, Neil, ahead of I think a full card of Championship fixtures today, so that may change by the end of the day. But let's enjoy it whilst it's there. 35 points, just 2 points behind this afternoon's opponents, Watford, who sit in 4th position, with fixtures in front of us. So that was some performance. I just want to mention, if I may, and hats off to Carl for he made a couple of mentions of the tributes to Lee Evans, who's currently hospitalised at the moment, a famous Millwall fan. One Terry Hurlock. I just want to send our best wishes to Lee. I don't know if he listens to the show. He was mentioned on the stream this afternoon. Nice touch by Cole, and also nice touch by Watford, who I think they had these photo displayed on the scoreboard, which was great to see.
Yeah, fair play to Phil Clark, actually.
Yeah,
for organising it all, and Jude, Lee's son, was Millwall's mascot today, and I know they
It
organised
was.
it
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
quite short notice. And it was great to see Luther Blissett, a player that I admired greatly in the 80s. He was a fantastic England striker, wasn't he? Luther
England,
Blissett.
Watford, and AC Milan. He went to Italy, didn't
He put a tweet out last night to wish
he?
Lee the very best. Like, I know Lee, obviously, through Millwall communities, and I've been to the cricket with him a couple of times, and he's a great Millwall fan. His family are huge Millwall fans, and
Millwall characters.
and Millwall runs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but he isn't having the best of times, and hopefully, Lee, you've had something to smile about.
And well done, Watford. And they've even served us up 3 points, which I know will hearten Lee tremendously. So good luck to you, mate. Let's get you back down to Den soon. Neil, I think we did this as an impromptu show. Really appreciate you taking time out, mate. Thanks for coming on. And Arrivederci Millwall to the next show, which I think will be Friday. We're going to do one Friday. So Neil and I'll be back on Friday. Until then, bye for now.
Achtung, Millwall.